We've made our way from Brisbane to just west of Birdsville, into the deep outback. We are staged to tackle the Simpson Desert as we push ourselves and our trucks to the geographic center of Australia. A 4-day push from here at the top of Big Red. We will be taking the iconic French line, traveling opposite of the typical route from east to west against the steeper eastern faces of some 900 dunes ahead.
Overlander is presented by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. In association with Patriot Campers. And in part by Magpul, apparel and hard goods. Equipped. Warren, go prepared. CBI Off-Road Fabrication. MaxTrax, take the easy way out. Icon Vehicle Dynamics. And the power of Red Arc.
The Simpson Desert is a large area of dry, red, sandy plain and dunes spanning into the Northern Territory, South Australia, Queensland, and Central Australia. It is the 4th largest Australian desert, and underneath it lies the Great Artesian Basin, one of the largest inland water drainage areas in the world. Water from the basin rises to the surface at numerous natural springs, including Dalhousie Springs, which is one of our benchmarks to hit on the other side of the desert. The Simpson Desert is an erg, also known as a dune sea, which contains the world's longest parallel sand dunes. They run north and south, and are static, only held in position by the limited vegetation. Now well into our day from an early start, we stop for lunch in Irish Creek.
So we've just dropped into Eyre Creek here. You can see the fantastic creek bed. Normally this is dry, but every 5 or 10 years they might get a cyclone in the northern part of Australia, which comes further south and flows down into Eyre Creek here. So it's a pretty unusual creek in that it starts in the northern part of the Simpson Desert and ends in the southern part of the Simpson Desert. So, you know, kind of a creek that flows from desert to desert. Every so often it floods through here, and we get quite high. The Land Cruisers we've got parked here would basically be covered in water, and you wouldn't want to camp down in the creek bed because you can get a metre high wall of water that is just going to come through here on its way down to Lake Eyre. Be pretty special to watch. I've never had the chance to do that, but maybe one day.
Every so often, sometimes once every 10 years, there is enough water that flows through this creek, spilling into Lake Eyre further south, enabling the famous Lake Eyre Yacht Club to get their boats out and have a run on the dry lake. Obviously, this is not that year. Our next stop is 174 kilometers west of Birdsville and nearing the middle of the Simpson Desert, at the geographically significant Poepel Corner. Augustus Poepel, after whom the point is named, conducted a survey in the mid-1880s to find the exact location of the Central Australian colonial borders. Originally, the point was located over in the Salt Lake, but it was found that the measuring chain used was a few centimeters too long and perhaps stretched over time from the heat. Eventually, another survey was conducted by Lawrence Wells, who relocated the post to its current position.
This sort of thing signifies a strong, characteristic of overlanding. Some people think that overlanding is all about four-wheel drives and it's, getting stuck and recoveries and stuff. That's one part of it. That's an aspect and a skill set involved, to me, of a bigger picture. And that's exploring the world and seeing places off the beaten path and being self-sustained like we are right now. What we're getting to do right here, right now, to me, is the very definition of overlanding. We're able to interact with cultures. We're seeing a new place. We've crossed the border and we're spending time out here on our own seeing remote places. We have people that are showing us that are locals, and that, I mean, it checks all the boxes. So I think when it comes to the bigger conversation of overlanding, camping is part of overlanding. Four-wheel drive is part of overlanding. Travel is part of overlanding. Gear. But then there's people and cultures and travel and maps and geography and understanding your world. And I think all of that is what makes up overlanding. That is overlanding. And if you're doing all those things, that's when I think you really are an overlander.
We are very creative with our names, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So South Australia's in the south, and West Australia's in the west, and Northern Territory is in the north.
And then East Australia's on the east.
Copy.
Yeah. And then we've got one island floating off the bottom of Australia that no one really knows who owns it.
That doesn't exist.
We think it belongs to New Zealand.
During the heat of the day, sand gets softer from the excited molecules expanding the air between the grains. And some dunes now are requiring multiple attempts to cross.
Easy. Come on.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Nasty!
Fast up.
Track is no joke. It's just all day, just boom, 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 boom. It's worse than Baja. It's a lot like Baja.
If you would like to know what it's like to travel the some 18 hours of travel time across the Simpson, here is a 45-second sample. It's rough, to say the least. And by the end of the day, your body feels the abuse. Our end of the day is near, and as we get close to camp, Rob informs us to kill our tracking, for this campsite's location is secret and has been for almost 20 years.
This is a very special spot for me, so we're not going to put it on the map. We're not allowed to tell anybody where it is. It's just for us. Special spots you find when you're out mapping for 20 years out here. So we're sharing it with you guys around the world, but we're not going to tell you where it is. So doubt it's here somewhere in the Simpson Desert.
With the sun nearly set, the boys are sent out to gather and start tonight's fire. I'd say it's pretty hard to beat a campsite to help a boy grow up. And these boys are growing up to be fine men.
The bush melon, it's native to Australia. Don't taste real good. But if you need some vitamins out here in the desert, then it's not too bad. got a real sort of bitter lemon. Sort of,
It's an aphrodisiac.
Oh man, that's tasty.
Are you for reals? Do you just eat it and then spit the seeds a day?
Take a bite of it.
You held it together really well.
That is bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
what we like to do with them is play a good Aussie game called cricket.
Well, we are out in the Simpson Desert driving on the sand dunes, and it's pretty remarkable because looking at a map, it looks pretty small, but being out here, it's pretty spectacular, and how expansive this desert is. Every time you crest a dune, you come back up, you feel like you're reliving the same moment.
So close!
We took the bypass route. There's a little easier route right through here, through the dune. Justin took the hard one, naturally, of course. And he almost made it. He got really close. Came right over the top, dug in on the rear, high centered, and here we are. So what we're doing was we're using several methods. We just tried a quick winch. The load was too tough to put on the trailer. So now what we're going to use is a snatch strap. A snatch strap, if you haven't seen one used before, it uses a dynamic strap that loads energy and helps lift and pull a truck out. Range. Justin, are you ready?
Ready to go, mate.
Here goes. Good work, guys.
That was a textbook recovery.
Indeed.
Textbook recovery.
With the day being a little more punishing from the last, it's apparent we won't make it to our target camp. So it looks like it'll be hard landing tonight near the French line and the Colson intersection.
So we've been pushing it pretty hard on this trip. And we're making huge miles. You know, in no time we've gone from the coast and we're nearing the center of Australia. Mm-hmm. So on big pushes like this, part of the fun is that it is a big push. It's part of the challenge. There's the Simpson that we got to cross, and there's a timeline, deadline. That's part of the fun. It really is part of what makes this trip in particular fun. You wouldn't do this every time.
No.
But there's a method to the madness on how you do it. Schedules become really important. Managing yourself, keeping yourself hydrated, fed, and just your wits about you, and then planning and maintaining your rest. So we get to camp, we eat, but then we're going to bed.
Yeah.
So we can get up and do this over and over and over again. There's kind of a discipline that comes with
up with the sun,
pushes.
down with the sun. But look, for anybody, even an Australian, Simpson Desert and back from the east coast of Australia in 7 days. That's a big push, man.
Yeah.
That is a big push. And that'd take its toll on absolutely anybody who tried it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a short night. It's boots on the ground at 4:30 tomorrow morning. It's 5:30 a.m. and we are rolling. The early morning is allowing us to witness the moon setting in the west just as the sun rises to our backs.
A spectacular start to our final day in the Simpson.
We got some miles to lay down today. A bunch more dunes. So last night we camped at the OLSEN intersection with the French line. And now we're going to continue down the French line to Dalhousie Springs, where we're going to get a little hot spring action or warm spring action. But from here, yeah, we're going to load up, grab a granola bar, and get to it.
And if we're lucky, by the end of the day, we'll make it to the geographic center of Australia.
That's the goal.
The last 50 kilometers see the dunes become less prominent, allowing us to pick up the pace, a critical element to meet our goal of the geographic center by the end of light tonight.
So we made it. Last sand dune, across the Simpson Desert. We're good. So from here, we're airing up. We're heading to Dalhousie Springs. A beautiful oasis here, fed by artesian bore. Gonna dive on in, get rid of all the sand and dust. And then we're still gonna truck on to refuel at Mount Dare and on to the geographic centre of Australia.
Look, really 5 days from the east coast of Australia to the other side of the Simpson Desert is a pretty monumental feat in anybody's book.
Justin was saying that top 3, top 5 of people in Australia, this is the thing to go do, and so I feel very fortunate to be able to have accomplished it. Of course, we had great guides and a great team of people and great trucks, and you know, it was all there for us. But what a good time it is to go that deep into the backcountry, so to speak. So we're all aired up now, and the big objective here is to finish the main objective, which is to get to the center of Australia, the geographic center. So we'll see what that looks like. I hear it's not much, but it's the meaning that means everything. What? Just don't you forget, everybody. It's the meaning that means everything.
Meaning that means everything. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Expedition Overland. Meaning that means everything.
Next stop, Dalhousie Springs, one of several oasis springs where the great watershed that runs under the desert reveals itself.
One sending.
Yo.
Nice. Good. Right on.
Send it.
But we can't stay long. We still have a full day's worth of driving to reach the geographic center. Our first refuel in 4 days is just ahead.
This is our last fuel stop before we hopefully get to our final destination. It's in the middle of nowhere. Runs off a generator. And I see a sticker, Overland Journal. It looks like Mr. Brady's been here at some point, which is no surprise. Pretty cool to see, I don't know, a place like this running out in the middle of nowhere. This is some of my favorite places to be in the world. Little knick-knacky shops in the middle of Timbuktu.
So guys, getting close. By my measurements, we've done 2,435 kilometres from Brisbane, 550 kilometres across the desert to that refuel, and we've got 135 kilometres to go to the geographic centre.
Tonight, it's going to be an all-out race to chase the fading light. There's no time for delays. With our increased speed, the ratchets holding the max tracks to the roof of our Super Tourer have come loose.
Hey! What are you doing?
What's actually happening? You know what's happening there?
I have no idea. There was some kind of rattle and Clay decided to climb out the window and get up on there. So we're approximately doing 75 kilometers right now. Hope that Clay makes it back inside.
With only minutes of light left, Rob leads us flawlessly through the maze of roads winding into the geographic center. At the last second, the monument is revealed around the final corner. We've reached the geographic center of Australia in just 4 days via the Simpson Desert.
So imagine this, try and balance this huge continent on the end of your finger, and the whole thing balances, well, we're right here. Lambert's geographic centre of Australia. We made it. 2,500 kilometres, 4 days I think, can't remember anymore. All the trucks and gear in great shape, but here we are.
Travelled a lot of this country, I've seen a lot of this country, but it just goes to show there's so much of Australia that I still haven't seen. It's obviously been an Australian, born and bred. It's a little bit sentimental being out here with my two boys. Rob from Homer's got his kids out here. This is some place I think every Australian probably needs to visit. And it's probably as important as any other monument that we have here in Australia. So I'm super pumped, and once again, I can't believe we made it here in the time that we did.
Awesome trip. Across the Simpson Desert, hundreds and hundreds of sand dunes. And when Rob told us 900 early on, I kind of thought, man, there's no way somebody really actually counted and that there are that many. Truth is, I think there's more than 900, maybe 1900. It felt like that way. Awesome trip though. We raced this afternoon to get to the geographic center for sunset, and we made it here just in the nick of time. Had a little bit of last light, so we're enjoying it, and now we're gonna head off and have a great camp.
For me, when I get to somewhere, I'm already gonna go somewhere else. And right now, the old adage, climbing down the mountain is still climbing the mountain, is on my mind. So while we can take a breath right here, take a little breather for making it, I know how far it is to get right here. And now we have to turn and go back. So we're gonna see some new parts of Australia on the way home as we burn up over the north and drop down into the south. So that should be good. And a few more days with our buddies.
This crew has been amazing, and we can't wait to someday return here. All in all, I think overlanding exists for 2 reasons: to introduce yourself to yourself, and to bond with each other. Over the next 7 days, we make our way home to honor another bond with people we have seen the world with, as a new chapter is about to begin.
So we're just back from Australia, and this morning, first order of business is to have a little bittersweet moment, and that is to say goodbye to a very special man and a very special lady. Jeff and Heather are both leaving XO because they're getting married. So they're going on, they're going to be moving out of town, they're starting a new life together. We're very excited for them. It's a tough thing for XO because they're going to be so deeply missed, but as friends, we're all friends first, hands down, and we are so excited for them. What a beautiful couple, and they are going to have a great life together. So we'll miss them here, but life will go on, and this morning we're going to say goodbye to them.
Awesome! Are you wearing an over there shirt?
Jeff hasn't seen it yet.
This is awesome.
It probably is.
It is.
That's amazing.
Without you,
so what's on the agenda for the day?
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all
first you both go out your way, and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone.
Been a long way without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Hey, thought I could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I live my life one adventure at a time. And I think that's why we are brothers. Because you do too.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. We're brothers first. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Want to go for a drive?
No matter where you are, whether it's a quarter mile away or halfway across the world.
We all change, we all grow, a new lane.
The most important thing in life will always be the people who've got your back. Right here, right now. Salute mi familia.
Started down small to a real bond, 'cause we're brothers first.
You'll always be with me. And you'll always be my brother.
Tell you, yeah, we came a long way. I'll see you again.